Yay. You know. Okay. Everything's working, everything is up, and everything is alive. Oh yeah. Um, everything is working. Okay. Everything's working. I'm paranoid now. Well, I guess I've always been, but I've been especially paranoid ever since I streamed and it didn't even work. But according to my frame rate, it's at 100%, 6,000 uh, buy rates, and it's none of the frames are dropping. So according to the computer, the stream is healthy, everything is good. So very good. Um, Everyone who's going to join, hello, thank you for joining. My name is Adam Brazell. I'm the Bible Nutter. What this is just a very simple Bible study where I read Daniel chapter 5, and then I go through it verse by verse, and then we talk about it. And then afterwards, depending on how fast we get done through the chapter, I will either go to on the next chapter, or I'll just go to Discord. On Discord, we can talk about stuff face to face. That way, it's easier if you don't, because typing stuff in chat can be tedious. So if you join me on Discord, we can actually talk about it after the Bible study. And if no one joins me on Discord, then I'll just end the stream. Now, also, everyone who joins the stream, please be sure to like the video. That all being said, okay, now, other news. I want to tell you about a movie I watched, but so I watched the movie Disney's Bolt. I watched the Bolt movie, and I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I love that movie. I watched it when I was a kid, and I thought it was okay. Watching it now as an adult, I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I really love the Disney's Bolt. It's really amazing. I want to do like a movie review of it. It would be super interesting if I did it. I just don't think I will. I'm just super lazy and I just don't ever do the things I say I'm gonna do. But I don't know. That it would be nice. Would be nice. Do I have any pictures? If my nieces and nephews made me a picture, then I will show it. But I don't think I have any. They didn't make me any more. Okay, so other than that, I've been staying up till like 11 a.m. every day. I've not been going to bed. My sleep schedule is all messed up. I've been uh, going to bed at like 11 a.m., getting up at 7 p.m., and, and then just doing stuff like that. I actually like that more. I get more stuff done that way. Yo, Marky man. Hey, what's up? Thank you for joining. But it's not good because I have a job, and my job is no, my job is 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I'm gonna be tired today. Okay, but I don't know. But that's my life. Maybe I'll do a review of Bolt, and maybe not. If I say I will, I won't. It's kind of like the video on the Jews. I said I would make the video on the Jews, and I just haven't. Ugh. Okay, but without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're in Daniel chapter 5, the King James Version of the Bible. Always King James Version, because that is the Bible. And I streaming always gives me dry mouth. Only the YouTube stream, though. I streamed on Twitch. By the way, I stream on Twitch. I don't get dry mouth there. It's just on the YouTube stream. Also on that, I do stream on Twitch. I don't stream Bible studies on Twitch. I stream video games on Twitch. I still just an amateur, still pretty much at everything. The only thing I've been consistent at is my Bible study streams where I upload once a week, little Bible studies. Other than that, I don't know. Okay, here we go. Daniel chapter 5, King James Version. Or here we go. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple, out of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold, and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, Whosoever shall read this writing, and show me the interpretation thereof, shall be clothed with scarlet, and have a gold chain about his neck, and he shall be a third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. Forasmuch as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams and showing of hot sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought before... Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake, and said unto Daniel, Art thou Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and the light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make the interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and thou shalt be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writings unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all the people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would who whom he would he slew, and whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beasts. And his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen. His body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. And thou his son, Belshazzar, O Belshazzar, hast thou not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords and thy wives and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold and brass and iron, wood and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him that this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mene, mene, tekel, parson. I'm not sure if that's right. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they took and clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain, and Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. Boom! And that is Daniel chapter 5. I believe there's only 12 chapters in Daniel. So we are like halfway through. It does appear we'll be able to read another chapter, because that one was very quick. Yo, Marky Man, he says, I haven't watched any Disney movies since the Peds and feminists took it over. This is true. The Disney movies, the ones they're making now, are just completely abominable. Also, it's... But for that reason, I would understand if you didn't watch any Disney movies, like, ever at all, because it's true that Disney is, like, very corrupt. And they promote a very... a very lewd agenda. Does that help? So I understand if you haven't watched the Disney movies that I understand. Now in the past the Disney movies were awesome. Disney used to make really good movies, and I grew up watching Disney movies. I still have nostalgia for them. But the new movies are just trash, just outright trash. But the old movies were good. Like, so in the movie Bolt, at the very end, some firefighters came to put out a fire. And to my surprise, all the firefighters were men. And they were all white. And I thought that was just amazing because, like, oh my gosh, this was before they tried to artificially create they insert diversity into their movies, where they just made everyone black and they made everyone a woman and gay, kind of like what South Park talked about. South Park made an episode where South Park calls out Kathleen Kennedy or Kathleen something, the girl who made the girl who was in charge of the new Star Wars movies. I think it's Kathleen Kennedy, I think. And basically, she just made the characters more diverse, which basically means she just changed the gender and the race of all the characters arbitrarily. Like if they're they did this with Snow White. They made a Latina girl Snow White. And then for the Little Mermaid, it was a black girl. Even though Ariel was the original Ariel in the Disney movie was a white girl with red hair, and they made it a black girl. And why they do that? Why they do that? And then if you notice, you say, well, you're a racist. It was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Demographically, black people only make up like 12 to 13% of the United States population. So you shouldn't see a black person 50% of the time in all movies and things. Like the commercials in the United States, if you're watching commercials, about, I don't know, I think like 80% of the commercials has got a black guy in it. Why is this a problem? If you are so naive, the whole problem with this is it's just not real. It's a false demographic. 80% of the population is not black. So why is 80% of the content or the ads we see got black people in it? It's not that they're black that's the problem. It's the problem is that's not demographically accurate. Demographics are the people in a country, the demographics, the demographic. The demographics include the race, the religion, gender, all these things. Those are demographics. Demographically, black people make up 12 to 13%. So the fact that we see them 80% of the time is just like, that doesn't make any sense. Also, gay people in the United States also make up like less than 1%. So the fact that we, The Amazing Race, my mom watches The Amazing Race. I thought The Amazing Race was cool too. And gay people only make up about like less than 1% of the U.S. population. And yet, like every season, The Amazing Race has got a gay couple on it. How'd that happen? That's not normal. They went out to find a gay couple to be on their show. You can't just pick 12 people at random and it's a gay couple and every single time. So it's a false step. They're artificially changing the demographics in the Star Wars movies. The newest ones, like more than half the cast is all female. They're all female, and then they'll have like one white guy, and it feels like they have one white guy, but then they put him down at every moment they can for being white. And it's just crazy. So it's just not true. They're making false demographics. But in the Bolt movie that I watched and I love, it's awesome, it's amazing. All the firefighters were white and male. I thought that was amazing. Like, wow, I guess must have been before their diversity hires and all their diversity manipulating. Huh. So I thought that was refreshing because it's true, it's accurate. But as far as the Disney movie is concerned, I really liked it. Very awesome. I want to do a movie review of it, but I also want to make a video about the Jews too. So, will I do it? I don't know. If I say I will, I won't. I don't know. Hey, if you pray, you could pray for me. You could pray that Adam does what he says he's going to do. That'd be great. So, Daniel chapter 5. So Belshazzar, if so, the context after King Nebuchadnezzar of the previous chapter, he was dethroned. He became a beast. God took away his wisdom because he was lifted up with pride, and then his son Belshazzar reigns in his stead. And Daniel did say that Belshazzar knew all this, and yet he was still prideful. So that just goes to show that people just kind of do what they do. It is they don't to have a rhyme or a reason. Like the people who are proud in heart are going to be proud in heart. There's just nothing that's ever going to change that. It's not because of lack of evidence that they don't humble themselves, or a lack of evidence in God, they don't trust in Him. No, they just don't trust in Him because they don't want to trust in Him. So Belshazzar, he made a great feast before his lords and stuff. And then because he's prideful, he commanded his servants to bring the golden and silver vessels out of the temple that was taken when they invaded Jerusalem, because Babylon took over Israel, the nation, Jerusalem. They took them over. They sieged them, conquered them. And so now he says, hey, go to the temple, get all their golden vessels, and we're going to drink out of them. They're basically blaspheming God here. Basically, they're blaspheming him. It's like, hey, we defeated you, and we're going to drink out of the vessels of your God and mock him. That's basically what he's doing here, is blaspheming God. And him and his concubines and his wives and his lords drank with them, and he praised the gods of gold and silver and brass and iron and wood and stone. God does not like it when you give his glory to other gods. So this would have made he's pushing all God's buttons here. In the same hour, some things, I guess the hand of God came and wrote on the wall. It wrote on the wall, and when the king saw it, he freaked out. He was like, oh my gosh, he had no idea what was going on. I can imagine that. That makes sense. He called all his wise men and soothsayers. They could not tell what it was. And now he is greatly troubled. He's like, oh my gosh. Whoa. And now his queen, now the queen, even though it says he has multiple wives. The king's wife would be the queen. But he has multiple wives, so why does it say the queen and not now one of his queens? I don't know. Maybe this is the main one, his favorite one? I'm not sure. But now the queen, his wife, I guess it would have to be his wife, yeah. She said that Daniel's a really great guy. He can show you what it means. Yeah, and she praises Daniel. This is also very interesting, too, as well, that I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes women actually say something that's useful. Isn't that amazing? Sometimes the women actually help. Sometimes it's like when Eve got her husband kicked out of the Garden of Eden because he listened to her. This woman is telling him, hey, Daniel, this man Daniel, he knows things. So she's actually giving good advice here. Sometimes the queen can give good advice to the king, which is awesome. Which is why I suppose if you were a woman and a king married you, then be happy, because now you get to talk to the king. And then you could tell him things. Amazing. I'm being sarcastic on some things if you're not where. And she's bragging on Daniel. She said Daniel can show you the thing, the interpretation. Then Daniel was brought in before the king. What oh fudge, I forget what was Bill Belteshazzar. He says, "I've heard of you. You have great understanding. My wise men and everyone cannot tell me what it is. Can you tell me what it is, and I will give you a gold chain about thy neck, and you'll be a third ruler." And this is very awesome here. Daniel says, oh my gosh, I'm dying. Daniel said before the king, "Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation." The king said he's going to give whoever reads this glory and honor. They would be clothed with scarlet, which is, I guess, just a way of saying that they're going to give him honor and glory and all sorts of stuff. He's going to have a gold chain about his neck and shall be a third ruler in the kingdom. I wonder who the second ruler would be. Kamala Harris, duh. And then Daniel answered and said, "You can keep your gifts, give your rewards to another. I will read the writing to the king and make known unto thee the interpretation." So this is amazing, I think, that Daniel is a captive in this land, and yet he's still willing to serve this king. He's still willing to humble himself. Now, I suppose one of the reasons Daniel is humbled here is because he knows that he is not so wise as to interpret the vision, but rather that God has given him the ability to interpret the vision. So, as a matter of praising God, he's saying, "I will interpret this because, kind of like what Jesus said, freely you have received, freely give." God's given Daniel the ability to interpret this vision, this sign, this wonder. And so Daniel is going to interpret it for free. He said, "I don't need your gifts. I don't need it." Hey, Dustin commented. He says, "What did I just walk into? I popped up a video and already being sarcastic." Yeah, I'm a very sarcastic person. And then Daniel tells Daniel tells Belteshazzar, I think that's his name, the interpretation. He says, "Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, had glory, honor, and majesty, and everyone was afraid of him because he could do anything he wanted. No one could stop him. But when his heart was lifted up in pride, his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him." Like when your father was prideful, God knocked him off his high horse, and he was driven from the sons of men. God took away his wisdom, and he was like an oxen. He got on all fours and ate grass. And now his son, Belshazzar. So Daniel is Belteshazzar, and this guy is Belshazzar. Okay. "And thou, son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this." That's amazing. He knew all this. He's seen all this and still was prideful. His father was turned to a beast because of his pride, and now he's following the same route. That's crazy. Imagine if someone walked off a cliff and they died, and then this person walks off the same cliff and dies, and are astounded that happened to them. Like, you did the exact same thing the person before you did and got the exact same results. What is surprising? "But thou hast lifted up thyself against the Lord." And this is the writing. I'm not sure if this is how you pronounce it. Mene mene tekel uprising. And it's something that I think is why is it? This is what it says: Mene mene tekel upharsin, and then it says Perez. Well, that's not what it says, but I don't know. He says this is the interpretation. God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Your life and your kingdom will be cut short. Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. I guess that means, okay, so if you're weighed in the balances and you're found wanting, that means that God is not pleased with you, and you've not been perfect, and you're biased. There are things you knew to do that were good and did not do them. And likewise, things you knew to do that were evil and did do them. I believe that's what all this means. You are weighed in the balances and art found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. I think that one is just, it means exactly what it says. And to my amazement, then the king Belshazzar commanded, and they clothed Daniel with the scarlet and the gold chain and made a proclamation that he would be the third ruler. This is something amazing to me. Belshazzar is a prideful king. He's not a good king. He's a pagan king who blasphemes God, and yet he still keeps his word. I just always marvel at that when people keep their word, when they say they will do something, and then they will do it. Because Daniel just said, hey, you're going to die, and your kingdom is going to be taken from you because you're dumb. And the king says, just, agreed with the interpretation and then is rewarding Daniel with all these things. So, I don't know. At least he kept his word. In that night was Belshazzar, king of the Chaldeans, slain. I forget who slew him. Maybe it either doesn't say, or I thought it was his sons or something. Or maybe that was someone else. It was probably someone else. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. A score is 20. A score is 20. So 60 is 60. And 2 years old. So Darius was 62 years old when he began to reign. Should we do Daniel chapter 6? Or do you think I should end it? How long is Daniel chapter 6? Oh, it's kind of short. It's only 28 verses. We'll go for it. We're going to go for Daniel chapter 6 now. Daniel chapter 6. Awesome. That's pretty good. Now I'll have to change the thumbnail. I love that. Okay, Daniel chapter 6. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom. So Darius is the new ruler. Belshazzar just died, and now Darius the Mede, Median, he is now the ruler of the kingdom. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdoms 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give account unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. Then these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, the princes, and the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute, and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask any petition of any god or any man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree, sign the writing, that it not be changed, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day, and prayed, and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man shall ask, that any man, oh my gosh, that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, The thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they, and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace, and passed the night fasting, neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste into the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and have shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then the king was exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives, and the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, languages that dwell in all the earth, Peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. Who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions? So so this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. And that is Daniel chapter 6. This is awesome. We're going to get through 2 chapters today. The Lord is blessed. And God of everything. Yay. Yo, Dragon Ball Dave, thank you for joining. Hey, everyone who watches the stream, be sure to like the stream, please. Marky Man says, go ahead, I'm listening. Oh. No, I don't know. Dragon Ball Dave says, Thug Life. Bro, Disney got tons of good movies. Yeah, they got tons of good movies. The new ones aren't good. The new ones are crap. But the old ones were good. I love the old ones. Bolt. I watched the movie Bolt the other day. I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I watched it when I was a kid, and I thought it was okay. Watching it now, I think it's the greatest movie of all time. Maybe not the greatest movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's really up there. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's so amazing. I just think it's so amazing. I need to make a video review on it, but I probably won't. Just like the video on the Jews. I need to do it, but I just don't. Why don't I do the things that I want to do and say to do and purpose in my heart to do and do not do them? Why? Woe is me. Whoa. Dragon Ball Dave says fiction is not real. You skipped a big chunk in chapter 3. Oh, crud. Fox and Hound, 101 Dalmatians, Oliver and Company, Abraham is not a Jew. Very good, Dragon Ball Dave. Very good. Amazing. I love it. So the nice thing about this chapter is there's not really a whole lot to explain. I think it's just pretty straightforward. It's just a story. It's just pretty much reading a story. Darius the king, he says he put over 100. It says it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom and 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. This whole saying is just Darius got an idea. Hey, you know what? I'm going to make 120 princes over the kingdom. That way they can rule it, and then they can answer to me. And it sounds good to me. Like he came up with it, his own idea. Now, I do believe that all of our good ideas are just thoughts that God puts into our heart. I do believe that. But it pleased Darius to do this thing, and I think it's a good thing he did. It's similar to what Moses' father-in-law did to Moses. All the people were going to come talk to Moses. Any request, any petition, any grievance they had, they would come to Moses and ask them what God would want them to do. And then Moses' father-in-law just said, "This is not good. You are going to wear yourself out and these people, but rather set up wise men, set up captains of people that the matter, if anyone has any matter, they will bring it to this person, and then if they cannot figure it out, then they'll bring it to another person, and then if they can't figure it out, then they will bring it to you. That way, you're not going to have thousands of people lined up every day to bring you one person request." And this thing was good. This thing was good. And this is good. This sounds good to me. The thing that I think is amazing is just how it just seems like kind of out of nowhere Moses' father-in-law has such good advice. But I don't know, it is good advice to set up different rulers who then talk to a ruler who then talk to a ruler who then talk to the ruler. That sounds good to me. Dragon Ball Dave says all those movies are better than Bolt. Well, Dragon Ball Dave, I disagree. I think Bolt is one of the greatest movies of all time. But you know what? Maybe I should watch Fox and the Hound again. It'll probably hit different because you know when you're a child and you watch these movies, you like you miss so much. And as an adult, when you watch these movies, it's like completely different movie. I think Bolt is one of the greatest movies of all time. It's so amazing. It was spoke to me. Amazing movie, I thought. But now I kind of want to watch The Fox and the Hound again because as a child, I thought Fox and the Hound was okay. I was never crazy about it, but now I kind of want to watch it again just to see what I would see. What time frame does the Book of Daniel take place? Oh, I don't know. That's a Google question. I don't know. Hit different. Who are you? Who are you? So, yeah, there's that. And also Moses. I just thought it was cool. So it pleased Darius to set over 120 princes and over these three presidents. Daniel was the first. Does it ever mention Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego ever again? I don't think it does. And over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was the chief, or the first, the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. That is to say, that his kingdom should be safe and secure and run wisely, well governed, because he's having people that the people can talk to, that those people can talk to higher people, and then those people can then talk to the king if they need to. Yeah, so everything is in order and everything's running smoothly. That sounds so great. That is just so great to me. Then Daniel was preferred above the president and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. I am jealous of Daniel. I want this excellent spirit. How do I do this? It says that Daniel prayed 3 times a day. I don't do that. Should I do that? I'm jealous of Daniel. Dragon Ball Dave says, we should make a video about all the jokes I make in chat that you didn't get. Lol. Isaiah is better? Why is Isaiah better? I want this excellent spirit. How do I get it? Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel. They're trying to get Daniel the same way they tried to get Jesus. They're trying to set a trap for him. But they couldn't find any occasion nor fault for as much as he was faithful. Neither was there any error or fault found in him. Hey, isn't that funny? As I'm reading this, I made a joke about women, and I want someone could use that against me and say I'm an evil, racist, sexist. What shall I do? Shall I cease being sarcastic? But they could find none occasion nor fault for as much as he was faithful. Neither was there any error or fault found in him. I'm jealous. I want this. I want to be faithful and have people seek occasion against me and not be able to find any because I'm so perfect. Wouldn't that be great? Perhaps I don't know what I'm saying. I actually don't want people to try to make me fail. But if if the Lord wills, so be it. Jeremiah? Why is Jeremiah better? Dragon Ball Dave. Then they said, we're not going to find anything against Daniel because he's so perfect, but we might be able to find something against him by the way he serves his God. And then they just went to the king and said, hey, can you just make a petition that anyone who basically prays to God, that they can't do that? And the king was like, okay. So isn't that amazing? Hey, this is really cool. This is just occurring to me. This king is very wise. At the very first verse, he says it makes it clear that this is a wise king. It says it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, that the king should have no damage. This is a wise thing to do. And then in verse 8, he just shot himself in the foot. So this is not a very wise thing to do, which just goes to show that you can be wise and still be foolish. You can do wise things, but you can also still do foolish things. You never cease from foolishness. We just sometimes do wisdom sometimes. Also, God seems to be the ruler and reigner of everything, because no matter what we do, his decree, his will is done. Dragon Ball Dave says Hosea is better. Okay, now I might be reaching. Yeah, you're definitely reaching, Dragon Ball Dave. You definitely. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing in the decree. I don't know why he did that. Oh well, he did. He didn't think about it, and because of his foolishness, he would have almost got Daniel, his chief dude, probably the wisest man in his kingdom, the greatest man in his kingdom, probably. You almost just like got him killed because of your foolish decrees. Oh well, thank God there is a God who is merciful and patient. Now Daniel knew that the writing was signed. He knew that it had been signed, and he went and prayed to God as he did. He didn't care. This is amazing. This is the standard Christianity. Anyone who is a Christian, if the government makes a law that prevents Christians from praying or assembling together or serving God, we ought to not obey it. We ought to utterly disregard it, whether it be in America or whether it be in communist China. Now, if it was in communist China, I think it would probably be a better idea to have secret churches and go underground. That way you're not killed. Nevertheless, if the government says one thing, but God says another, Christians, especially, man also, but Christians especially, ought to obey God rather than men. So, that's that. Dragon Ball Dave says Moses versus Paul, either way, both. Dragon Ball says, bro, easy with that Tea Party talk. Daniel knew that the law was made that you couldn't pray to God, and yet he did anyway. I feel like when they made a law during COVID that people are not supposed to gather, and yet the Christians were gathering together for church anyway, and when they basically banned churches during COVID, saying that, don't gather together because, be afraid of the COVID. Christians shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have done it. And I think anyone who did follow that is a godless sheeple, and God's gonna judge them, basically. They're going to be weighed in the balances and will be found wanting. You're afraid of a virus that has a 99.9% survival rating. You've got problems. Then these men were assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. A supplication is a request. Let me look that up real fast. Supplication. Supplication, also known as petitioning, is a form of prayer wherein one party humbly or earnestly, that means with strong conviction, ask another party to provide something, either for the party who is doing the supplication, please spare my life, or on behalf of something else. Yes, supplication, when you make your supplication to God, when you're asking God for something, normally in a humble way. So Daniel was praying, making supplication before his God. Dragon Ball Dave says, Cope is a sinner who is forgiven by God. What are you saying to me? So is Daniel's just doing what he does, ignoring the government. Very good. Then they came and spake to the king, says, King, you made a law that no one can come to church, and Daniel is, and you said he's going to go to the lion's den, and our laws don't change. They're absolute. You got to do this. The king was like, oh, fudge, what have I done? I love Daniel. He's amazing. And now I've just killed him. Wow, I'm an idiot. Then the king heard these words. He was sore displeased. But the law is the law, so the king went and enforced the law. He got Daniel, and he tried to get him out of it. The king was like, says the king, when he had heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and his heart was set on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. This is amazing that the king has such favor to Daniel, and how he loves Daniel. And that Darius, he's a evil, wicked, pagan king. He's not a good guy. And yet, he loves Daniel, and he seems to love truth and righteousness and objectivity and fairness. Amazing how an evil, wicked, foolish king can still have all these attributes and still do these things. Nevertheless, he does these things. Or nevertheless, he's an evil, wicked, pagan king, and his heart was set on Daniel to deliver him, and he's laboring. He's trying to deliver Daniel. Then these men assembled unto the king and said, Know, O king, the law of the Medes and Persians, that no decree or statute of the king may be changed. And I guess he just went with it. I kind of wonder, why couldn't the king change his own law? I don't know. I guess they just have respect for this tradition that the law supersedes the king. I was under the impression the king could do whatever he wanted. But oh well, the commandment can't be changed, so that's that. The king commanded and brought Daniel, they cast him to the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. This is an amazing thing to come from an evil, wicked, pagan, idol-worshipping king. This evil, wicked, pagan, idol-worshipping king is saying to Daniel, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. There's Christians who don't have that faith. And this evil, wicked, pagan king who worships statues of wood is saying this to Daniel. I can't even wrap my head around it. It just is what it is. Like, what? How do you reconcile this? How do you figure this? It's not the righteous doing righteous, it's the wicked doing righteous, and the righteous are not doing righteous, the righteous are doing wickedly. How is that? And yet it is, and we see it every day. What is this? How do you know it? How do you explain it? What is it? What is the deal here? What's going on? How does this happen? What does this mean? How do we compute this? What does that mean? Dragon Ball Dave says 1L19. Is that first Leviticus 19 maybe? I'm not sure. It's just amazing. Amazing to me that he said all this. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the lion's den. The king signed it with his own signet, and his lords of the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. So he did it. This is the law. They did it. And thank God that God saved him. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Fasting is when you don't eat anything. You only drink water. There might not be an exact definition of fasting, but basically. And you're doing it for a reason. You're doing it for something. Neither were there. So he was fasting that Daniel would be delivered. This is crazy. This evil, wicked pagan king is fasting. He's depriving himself of food, of luxuries for Daniel. This king, he cares about Daniel. He loves Daniel. Not just Daniel as a person, but also just the fact that Daniel was innocent. And he made a foolish mistake by signing the decree. So he cares about justice, which is why he kept the law. The law that their laws don't change, they can't change them. And also the law that Daniel was to be cast into the lion's den. He seems like a just king, as far as I can tell, even though he's an evil, wicked pagan king. Neither were there instruments of music. I don't know why they spell music M-U-S-I-C-K. We spell music M-U-S-I-C, but that's what it is. It's just spelled music. It's just spelled differently. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. This guy, he's probably, I picture him pacing in his room. Pacing in his room, just like hoping that Daniel is not going to be eaten by the lions. That's what I always picture. This king, he cares so much about Daniel, and his sleep went from him. He's not going to sleep. He can't sleep. He just condemned an innocent man, and he cares. I wish our government cared about condemning the innocent. That'd be nice. This evil, wicked pagan king condemned the innocent, and he cares. He's regretting it. He's hoping that the innocent are not going to die. What? That's awesome. That's an awesome king, even though he's an evil, wicked pagan king. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste to the den of lions. Very early in the morning. The Bible always talks about things happening early in the morning and very early in the morning. I do not get up in the morning, so this means I am lost. So I don't know. According to the Bible, I should get up in the morning. Early in the morning to get stuff done. Because that's when things get done. See, I can work on my life. I'm no good. And the king, he's going to the den of lions. He's wondering if God has saved Daniel. Market Man says Terminator. Lol. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? When I read it the first time, I read it with all the feeling. I love this. I love that Daniel. I love this. I love it. I love it. Because I still cannot reconcile. I still cannot figure it out. The king said to Daniel when he was cast into the lion's den that thy God whom thou serve continually, he will deliver thee. And then the king is fasting, pacing in his room back and forth all night, not sleeping, no music, no food, hoping to God, this Daniel's God, that his God will deliver him. And then, if after all that, he cried and says, Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? It's like he believes it, he hopes for it, but he doesn't know if it's true that Daniel will be delivered. And then Daniel replies, O king, live forever. And it's funny how Daniel, this is the first thing he says to the king. He is not angry at the king. He does not hate the king. He's not said to the king, you foolish king, your decree got me cast in here. What have you done? No, he says, O king, live forever. The wicked men who tried to deceive the king and get Daniel thrown into prison, the first thing they said was, O king, live forever. Control F. Ooh, how did it know I wanted that? Ooh, okay. Whoa, okay. Live for. Control F. Yeah. Then the presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto the king, King Darius, live forever. And then Daniel says, O king, live forever. Verse 6 and verse 21. When they said, "Oh, King, live forever," they're just trying to butter him up so that they can knock him down and deceive him to cause him to do foolishness. When Daniel said, "Oh, King, live forever," it was out of honor and love and respect and dignity and just all sorts of wonderfulness. And Daniel's not angry with the king. And I suppose, why would he be? God delivered him. I suppose the angel would have told him all these things as well. Awesome. Marky Man says, David and Terminator. Sarah tells Reese she's not stupid. They don't have stuff like that yet. 40 years later, they kind of do. Lol. Very good. So Daniel is... See, I'm jealous of Daniel. If a foolish king cast me into a lion's den and I'm innocent, I probably would be upset. But Daniel is not. Daniel's cool as a cucumber. I'm jealous. I want to be like Daniel. It says, "My God has sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, that they have not hurt me, as before him, for as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt." What does this mean? It is possible for God to do the impossible. It is possible for God to deliver you out of all harm and danger and hurt. And especially if you're innocent. It is possible. But that doesn't mean that he will. Jesus Christ was innocent. He was the most innocent, believe me. And he was crucified. The apostles, they were innocent. They were crucified or killed. The innocent are slain all day long. It is possible God deliver the innocent. It is possible. But it is a reason for God to deliver them if they are innocent. If you are guilty, if you are a terrible, wicked, evil person, it's still possible God will deliver you and save you. It's more likely he won't. But even if you are innocent, I don't know, it's possible. I guess trust in God. Now, Daniel did not know that he was going to be delivered. Daniel did not know that God was going to save him. How could he know such a thing? But Daniel didn't care. It's kind of like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego when the king Nebuchadnezzar said, "If you don't bow down and worship the image, I'm going to cast you into a furnace of fire." And they said, "We will not bow down and serve your gods." God is able to deliver us from the furnace of fire, but even if he does not, we will still not serve your gods. So they were willing to burn alive. They were willing to burn alive for their faith than to serve other gods. Daniel was willing to be cast into a lion's den to be ripped to pieces by lions. I also kind of believe the pit was kind of tall. So I wonder if you could like break your bones on the way down the pit being thrown into the pit. I wonder. We'll read that in a second. Now, we'll look at it now. It says, "And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives," the whole package. "The lions had a mastery of them." I guess it just means they ate them. "And break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den." So, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. I don't know what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean when they were thrown into the den, they broke all their bones on the way down? What does that mean? I'm not sure. Nevertheless, God delivered Daniel. Dragon Ball Dave says, "I don't quite understand what you mean. I'm drunk." Marky citing 1L19. Skynet took over in 97, I think. Discord. Gobble gobble. Okay. So Daniel did not know God would save him, but God can, and he does. Then the king was very glad. He was glad that Daniel was okay. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him because he believed in his God. Hey, that'll do it. Whether God delivers you or not, you ought to trust in Him. And then these people who were wicked. This is why I suppose if you are a woman, you should not marry a wicked man. If you are a woman, you should marry a good man above anything else, because I don't know the what's the word? I don't know the what's another word for like the opposite of poverty. What's the opposite of poverty? Status, wealth. I don't know. I see. I'm dumb. I don't know the words, but I do not know the position of these men. So, and the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel. I don't know the position of these men. The fact that they had counsel with the king and could talk to the king directly. These people might have been princes. Actually, it says that. It says that up here. Then the presidents and princes assembled themselves together to the king and said unto the king. Oh, so these are presidents and princes. So these people are rich and have probably fame, fortune, power, honor, glory. These are rich people, okay? And because of their wickedness, the king commanded they brought those men which had accused Daniel and cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. So this is why if you're a woman, it would be a good idea to marry a good man as opposed to a rich man, or as opposed to a righteous man as opposed to a rich man. Because your rich husband or your wealthy husband or your famous husband can get you killed. Not you only, but your children too. So this is why if you're wanting someone to marry a good person. Marry a person who has good ethics and good morals. Because if you don't, they could very well be the death of you. Facts. Yeah. And yeah, so these guys were princes and presidents. So they were wealthy, well off. And then they got you killed. So definitely marry a good guy, don't marry a bad guy. Then Darius wrote unto all the nations and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. Well, that's nice of him. Peace be multiplied unto you. An evil, wicked pagan king saying, peace be multiplied unto you. That's something that they say in the Bible. That's like a Christian thing to say. This evil, wicked pagan king is like good and more and more. He says, I make a decree that every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion unto the end. Now, this evil, wicked pagan king, actually, the other kings said a similar thing, they just never enforced it. Nebuchadnezzar said, if anyone speak anything amiss about the God of Daniel, that they will be cut in pieces, but then I don't think he ever actually enforced it. But this evil, wicked pagan king says that out of his whole kingdom, that men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God. I wonder, the thought occurs to me, well, Dragon Ball Dave says Discord, bro. What do you want on Discord? Dragon Ball Dave, I have myself muted. I'm not on Discord yet. I'm not on Discord yet. I'm still doing Bible study. At the end of this chapter, I'll hop on Discord. I love you. Thank you. I wonder if America had a law like this. What if we did that in America, where we made a decree that everyone in America Men tremble in fear before the God of the Bible. For he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. This is all true. What if we did that in America? I know that people would say freedom of religion, but freedom of religion meant basically freedom to be a Christian. Freedom of religion did not mean that any religion is allowed. It did not mean that. It can't mean that. Because if your religion teaches you to kill people because of the color of their skin, well, then your religion is not allowed. Your religion will not be protected. So, freedom of religion in America was basically just freedom to have your own Christian denomination. That's basically what it was. It had nothing to do with the broad term it's been interpreted now. We have in God we trust on our money. We have God in our Constitution. Is that we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are. Is that the Constitution or the Declaration? I think that's the Constitution. It says we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness or property. So we do have God in our Constitution. I don't think it would be. I know it can't be bad if America became Christian, and there's just it just can't be. God is his kingdom which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. It can't be bad. He delivered and rescued. He worketh signs and wonders in heaven and earth, and who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the region of Cyrus the Persian. That is Daniel chapter 6. So we did Daniel chapters 5 and 6 today. Yeah. Okay, now it's 2:17. Holy moly. I'm going to hop on Discord. So anyone who wants to go on Discord, I'll be on Discord probably until 2:30. That's probably as long as I want to go. So on Discord, if you want to join me on Discord, I will make another link. Control. Oops. Alt C. On Discord. Control V. I put another link to the Discord in the chat just now. So if you want to join me on Discord, you can. Now, Dragon Ball Dave is already in Discord. So I will talk to Dragon Ball Dave. I think that is good. Okay, so if you want to join me on Discord so we can talk about the Bible or something, we can do that until 2:30. That seems to be good to me. Oh, if you're not, then thank you for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for joining. Okay, now we're going to go to Discord. I have to put on my headset, though. Ooh. Okay, one more thing. Wait, where's my... Okay, hold on a second. Okay, let's see. I need to mess with something first. Okay, the audio output capture. That should work, right? Okay, that should be what I want to do. Audio output capture, and then... Okay. Alt X. Okay, that should work. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Dragon Ball Dave. Hello, how are you? Bro. I had to put on the audio so that people can hear you. Yeah, we're still streaming on YouTube, and now we're on Discord. Yep. What? Oh my gosh. I love Bull. I watched that kid I watched The Kid when I was a movie, and I thought it was okay. Yeah, I I I know. I watched that movie when I was a kid, and I thought and I thought it was an okay movie. Wasn't in love with it. I thought it was cool. I watched it last night. I loved it. I thought that movie was amazing. Let's see. What makes you say that? Well, you that's right. No, what? That's a completely different everything. Which bec Watch it again. Well, I think it's one of the greatest movies. Uh, Oliver and Company. I have to watch it again because the end when you watch movies as a kid, you're like, when you what? Okay, I'll tell you. The story of Bolt is it's a dog. There's a there's a dog who was adopted by an actor, so a family who's an actor, and in the movie, the Bolt is a dog actor. He's a dog actor, and the producer, the director, he from Bolt's entire life, they've been training Bolt to believe that in the movie he actually is a real superhero dog. And so Bolt is supposed to be a superhero dog, but he's an actor. It's all fake. But Bolt actually believes he is. He 100% believes he has superpowers. He 100% believes that Penny, his human, is in danger always, and that the bad guy with the green eye is going to come and kidnap her at any time, at any moment. And he believes this. And the director says, hey, don't tell Bolt not to believe this, because if Bolt believes it, then the audience will believe it. Wow. Yeah. So Bolt's entire life has been a lie. And we see this in the movie where at the end of one of the scenes they do, Bolt goes to his trailer and Bolt is eyeing the door. He's eyeing the door, waiting, to get any guy who's going to try and break in. And Penny is trying to play with him. Penny's like, Bolt, it's okay. I'm safe now. But, Penny's not telling him that it's all fake and she's not supposed to. Because she's just an employee, she's just a paid actor. And she's right. Well, I mean, and as a kid, when I watched this, I thought, "Oh, that's silly." Bolt's guarding the door. There was no one coming. As an adult, I think, "Oh my gosh, Bolt is acting exactly how he should." Bolt thinks that these people are going to come in and kidnap his human like at any moment. And so he's eyeing that door. She's trying to play with him. She throws a ball toward him. He doesn't care. As far as well, what was it? I don't never seen that. I have to watch it. I never I never seen it. I never I never seen it. I don't remember it at all. I've seen like a video of it on YouTube, but I just never seen it. Oh. Well, I imagine if your entire life's been a lie, I can't imagine how funny would you be. Yeah, kind of. I do want to watch these movies again, just to because they're so different when you watch them as an adult. Oh, yeah, it's got music, but so I really like the music in Bolt too. It only has one song though. Well, it's a good movie, but I think Bolt is one of the greatest movies ever. It was so amazing. Sure have. No, I haven't. Huh, no way. So in the movie Bolt, his you see him guarding the door. He thinks his people are gonna break in and try and kidnap his person, so he's guarding the door. And I'm thinking like, well, he that's what he should be doing. He's not over he, he's not over his entire life's been a lie. So then, what are you saying? So then they changed something in the movie. They Yeah, he is a hero. He's fearless too. He's amazing. But they changed something in the movie. Every episode, the Penny's in danger, but then Bolt saves the day and all is well, and that's the end of every episode. But then, like one of the agents, an agent from the network, a lady, she says to the director guy, "Hey, our audience is not watching. You need to change something, or you're all fired." And so he changes it to at the end of this next episode, it's a cliffhanger where Penny is abducted and kidnapped, but then that's it. The episode ends. And then they have a dog handler to get Bolt, put him in his kennel, and then put him in his trailer. And then at the end of it, Penny's running to Bolt, trying to tell him that he needs to know that I'm okay. He needs to know that I'm safe. And then her agent tells her, no. Bolt needs to know this because imagine how happy Bolt will be when he saves you tomorrow. And she's like, no, he's gonna be freaking out all night. And so they take Bolt. Yeah, this is devastating. Imagine one of your children just got abducted. What are you gonna do? Worry about it tomorrow? You would be utterly devastated. Like King Darius was devastated, maybe not to the quite the extent of how you would be, but King Darius was devastated that Daniel was cast into the lion's den. He had no idea if Daniel was going to live or not. Bolt, his human Penny, the love of his life, was just abducted. He believes this is real. He thinks he's got to do something. If you put yourself in Bolt's position, I think that's what makes the movies just one of the greatest of all time. I think that's what I did, is put myself in this position. Oh my gosh, Penny was abducted. Now, Bolt, it's definitely worth trying, but but it makes the movies so much better when you put yourself in the character's position. But as far as Bolt is concerned, I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. I'd I'd have to watch that one too. Ooh.
Later, brother Marky. I just seen it. I just seen the chat. So in Bolt, Penny gets kidnapped. Do you are you leaving or you still want to talk about it? Yeah. Well, excellent. Yeah, I never do the things I say I'm gonna do. I'm like the evil, wicked pagan king. I'm pretty evil and wicked and pagan and king. Yay. So Penny gets abducted, but Bolt actually thinks she is. She goes to try and tell him, "Hey, I'm okay," and she's like, "No, no, it's fine. He'll save you tomorrow." And Bolt is livid. He is losing his freaking mind. His handler puts him in his trailer, but then these stupid cats open the top door to mock Bolt, and then Bolt hops on the cage, on the dog handler, out the top of the door. So Bolt escapes. And Bolt has never been outside of the studio, outside of the set. Well, I mean, he maybe. I'm well, no, in the movie he's well, yeah, the Bolt knows nothing about the outside world. He doesn't. He's never been outside. Penny says, "Hey, can I?" Well, yeah, Bolt lives in his trailer, his little actor's trailer on the set. No, it's a trailer. It's like so like an actual trailer that someone would live in, but it's on the set, and that's what he lives in. Oh, yeah, rewatch the movie. I think it's what he thinks he needs to protect Penny. Like he's just in his little trailer, and Penny's not allowed to take him home. Penny asked her agent if she could take Bolt home for the weekend to play with him, and she was told no. Bolt needs to stay on set. Bolt needs to believe that you're in danger and he needs to protect you. And Bolt also has to kind of let Penny go because Penny does not live in the trailer with Bolt. Penny has her own life. So Bolt is just alone by himself, in his trailer. You kind of wonder. Yeah, I want to watch that. If it's, I've heard it's the similar concept. Okay, well, what's it called again? The Truman Show. Okay, don't spoil it. I don't. Yeah, but if it's similar to Bolt, I can imagine it would be very it's very dramatic and very serious, as it should be. If your entire life has been a lie, it definitely should. Yeah. Oh, okay. I do need to watch it. The Truman Show. Yeah. Well, I actually like pain and suffering. Yeah, I like things that make me cry, make me hurt. I like crying about stuff. I like boom. I yeah, I need to watch them all again. But I am gonna watch the Truman Show. Like I have not actually seen that. I've never seen that. I'm aware of it. I don't remember it at all. I just know that. Um, you want okay? You want to talk about Bolt? Okay. I love you. I'll see you later. I do want to make a video on Bolt. But eventually we'll see. I never seem to do what I say I will. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye. Okay. So that concludes the Bible study. We did good. We got 2 chapters, talking about some stuff. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. Thank you everyone for joining. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. And hey, if you would pray for me that I'd actually do the things I say I would, that'd be great. And thank you guys. And God bless you and have a good rest of your day. Okay, goodbye.